Hey guys, me again. Um, Gracious. There's a lot I want to talk about. I've been feeling kind of about a few personal things lately, and I've been trying to process through them and kind of understand why I'm frustrated, understand, what's kind of setting me off and why these things are bothering me. And in order for me to do that, I talk through things, which is fantastic if you are talking to your spirit guides, if you're praying, if you're talking to a friend, all that's fantastic. It is great to have someone to talk to and have good, solid feedback from. Um, Excuse me, still snotty. One of the things that has really hit home with me lately is that life isn't fair. And my father, the Marine, has been telling me life isn't fair for most of my life. Most of my life, really. And I hate hearing that. I hate, I don't like hearing that. It's hard because everyone I know that's good people, crappy things still happen to them. Everyone that I know that tries their best, that lives their faith in the best way humanly possible, bad stuff still happens. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I know that from a mature outsider perspective, if we're looking in on the world instead of living in it, trying to look around, those things are there to bring about lessons, to bring about growth. But when you're in the middle of it, or you're close to someone that's in the middle of a situation, it is heartbreaking, and it is difficult to help somebody. It's difficult to be in that situation. It's also difficult to help somebody. Yeah, great. Life throws us curveballs to give us lessons. Fantastic. But there are a lot of things that happen that you're just like, why? Why would something like that happen to someone so good, so sweet, so kind, so giving? And the answer is the most simple root cause is that life isn't fair. And this always seems to trip up people that believe in karma. They're like, oh, well, it must be karma from another lifetime. And it's like, really? Really? Now, I understand that obviously different soul groups come to repeat lessons until you learn them, or, all that fantastically metaphysical jazz. But in the real life moment of living through crap, you don't really see the lesson until you're way, way far away from the lesson. And life isn't fair. And unfortunately, there have been a lot of people recently that have been thrown curveballs, and everyone's like, oh, it's the retrograde. Oh, it's these planets. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's life. It's life. And life is not fair. How do we deal with that? Like, how do we come back from that? How do we recover from that? How do we take ownership of that and kind of become okay with that feeling? It's hard. It's really hard. And I think I can say, oh, I've got that down pat, and then something will happen. I'll be like, what the duck? What the duck, dude? What the duck? Obviously, I do not have this lesson ingrained, but still, what the duck? And it's not anyone's fault. It's not that you don't believe enough. It's not that you're not giving enough. It's not that you're not loving enough. It's just that sometimes life sucks. The best thing that we can do is talk to somebody about it. Really. Like, this really sucked. Why did this happen to me? What am I supposed to do with this? How do I move on from this? How do I move forward? How do I try and take a lesson from all of this crap, you know? when things get really bad, I try to set myself outside. So, in a recent spat of craziness, I was like, okay, what is really going on? What is there something I could say that would not fix this, but change the direction of a conversation? Is there something that I'm supposed to learn from this? Is there something that is meaningful for me in this on some level? And maybe there's not. Sometimes there's not. There's just not. Okay? And that's all right. You have to realize that sometimes it's just like, wow, this is a tremendous amount of insanity going on. And it doesn't really have anything to do with me, but wow, I don't want to get dragged into this. So this is not my circus. These are not my monkeys. I feel like I'm being sucked into this. I'm going to lay out a boundary and protect myself from this now. It's an important lesson on how to do that. And a lot of us don't learn how to do that for a long time, okay? It is an important life lesson, seriously. Sometimes there's no lesson. This is happening, this happened, oh my God, now what? And that's okay. That is fine. This has happened. It didn't happen to me. A person did this. How am I going to deal with this? How does this relate to me? I can either step away from it, say this is not my circus, or if it does involve me, or it is part of your circus, but not totally your circus, but it affects your circus, then you can say, all right, how can I make this useful? Or how am I going to make this a positive thing on my life instead of just a heaping pile of crap? You got to change perspective. You have to change perspective. Even if you just look at it from a different way. I'm not even saying, I'm just saying you have to try and look at things from a different way. For example, the crazy drama with the pregnant mistress and my life becoming a Lifetime movie, I really thought I was going to win the lottery because that really would be the perfect karmic ending to my Lifetime movie at that point. Unfortunately, I didn't. It's all right. No worries. But I learned a lesson. I learned that it wasn't just me that my ex had done this to. And that actually kind of helped my healing process a little bit, honestly. Because, I don't care what anyone says. When somebody cheats on you, it gives you a complex, dude. I mean, especially if you suspect and they swear, they lie, whatever, and then you find proof. And it's like, well, why did you lie to me? That again, even if you're the strongest person on earth, at some point at 4 a.m. when you wake up from whatever, it bothers you. And knowing he didn't just do it to me, did kind of help. Also, knowing that my kids are going to have a sibling, that is the best that has come out of this situation, because I have 2 half sisters and they are amazing. And the only reason I have relationships with those people is because our mothers worked hard. Our mothers saved to meet up. They planned. They made the effort to ensure that we were a part of each other's lives. And that really hits home for me right now. We may not be friends. We may not be best friends. We may not be, sister wives. After all those jokes, right? We may not be sister wives. We may start a commune. Who knows, right? The point being, that's the best that I could take out of the situation. The other thing that I've taken out of this situation is that I've absolutely seen all of my father's exes go through the healing process. And it isn't always pretty. And there was a lot of time where they were hurt and angry and resentful. I mean, those are common, obviously. Like, that's logical reactions to the situations at hand. And I certainly don't begrudge them their feelings. But I realize that I've seen people go through that. I've seen how it affects people. I don't want that for me and for the kids, because being hurt and angry and resentful, although completely natural, is going to spread out on your life. It does. And I don't want that. I don't want that for my family. I don't. I know that may be kind of weird, but if you are a child of divorce, I know that you know this, because there were times where I didn't want to go, to, my other parent's house, or I didn't want to go home to a parent, or I didn't, there was just, there's a lot going on. So I know that co-parenting is huge. And it's one of those things that has to happen successfully for the mental health of your kids. And even though the kids are young, I know at least that gives me some time to master this, and sometimes it is only one parent that masters it. But even if there's one stable parent in those kids' lives, that's what I want for my kids. I can't change anybody else. I can't change anybody's feelings. I can't change anything that happened in the past. Life isn't fair. And life really kicked me in the balls a few times with this one. Like, hardcore. And I think that, it'll be a lifetime of healing, Just because as a child of divorce, it was a lifetime of healing. It was a lifetime of, why aren't they talking to each other? Why are they yelling at each other on the phone? Why am I being used to send messages? Why am I in the middle? And I don't want that for my kids. No way, no how. And I think it speaks a lot to all of my parents that I'm mentally healthy enough to be able to say that. It's one of those things where the cycle of crazy absolutely could continue, absolutely. But I'm here saying no, and it's not what's going to happen. Not in my life, not for my kids. I'm going to do better, because people in my life tried to do better. So we're going to do better for the people, the kids, for the next generations, the half sibling. I'm excited. I love babies. And I think in a weird way, this is kind of, even though I don't get to totally be involved, this is my way of getting my third in. I like that. I like that a lot. So even though life sucked, even though life has blown my submarine out of the water several times, just with this whole personal fiasco, I'm okay. Life doesn't have to be fair in order for me to be joyful and to live my life. Life doesn't have to be fair. That's the inherent lesson. Even though things suck, we can accept the suckiness and move on from that. And be like, all right, there's another building block. I can use it to build, or I could wall myself in. These are the choices we have. And it is a choice. Recently, the ex has said, why are you doing this to me? Or why are you doing this? And I honestly was like, I haven't done anything. I am literally not doing anything to you, for you, anywhere near the circus that is you. I'm not doing anything. This is the way things are. This is how custody works. This is how divorce works. I'm being ridiculously nice about this whole process simply because I want to be done. I want to be free. I want to be able to rebuild my life, deal. I know that a lot of people struggle, and it might be easy for some people at the beginning. They say that the people that cheat always end up with someone first, which, again, totally not fair, right? And then and then for whatever reason, if that relationship doesn't work out, then they go through that process. In this case, I have no idea, but for me personally, I needed time to heal. I needed time to realize that it wasn't me. It was nice to have the confirmation. It was nice to have a little bit of closure, not from him, but from everybody else that he devastated, apparently. That was nice, and that was something that I was afforded, that I didn't have to have, that I kind of had accepted that I wasn't going to have, that life wasn't fair. I wasn't going to get a clean break. I wasn't going to get all the answers, especially from him. The just tremendous amount of lies still, and that's something that I have to learn how to overcome, as far as obviously dealing with the children. That's really all I care about. That's it. And honestly, if I win the lottery, oh man, yeah, I'll be fighting for custody tooth and nail. Absolutely. Yeah. Reality check, right? Mostly because I know if anything ever happens to me, the kids go to him, and that I can't handle, like, at all. I'm really struggling with that. And even Moilura was like, well, visitation's only 2 days. But for a child with special needs, that's a lot. Autism especially, like, obviously a physically handicapped is different. There's a lot more physical stuff. But as far as autism, really you're basically trying to unlock their brain to interact with society. And when you don't have the closeness, when you don't have the touch, the love, the affection, like the physical affection of hugging, and I rub his feet and I rub his back, and Audrey too, that physical affection is so important. Also the work, we're practicing on using our words, which has been very difficult for everybody, but we're making what I feel are big strides in that direction. And 2 days a week out of 7 for that work not to be continued is huge. Honestly, it's huge. So I'm still dealing with that frustration, with that idea of powerlessness. But I have a feeling that's going to be a lifetime struggle as far as this goes. Kids with autism are adults with autism. So it's a journey. It's a journey, not a rush to a destination. It's a journey. So if you are feeling like life is not fair right now, know that it's not just you. Life is not fair to everybody. It's not just you. Life is not burdening you with heaping piles of crap, just you. It's everybody. Thankfully, at different times. I always joke to the kids, I'm like, only one of us can have a bad day at a time. That's it. Somebody pick whose bad day it is, because we're not all having a bad day. It's my running joke, right? But it's true. That's how we deal with things, The kids are allowed to have their feelings. They're allowed to feel the frustration. We do our best to help them work through this, to use the words to communicate, to deal with that. But as adults, it's the same thing, We may be having a bad day. We need to learn how to deal with the fact that life isn't fair. And for a lot of people, that means reaching out to friends and talking, even just talking, texting. Texting is huge now. I have friends that reach out to me all hours of the day. I could be doing work and I'll check a text from a friend, right? Our modes of communication have changed so awesomely now, that we can do anything. Reaching out to a friend only takes a moment. If you're at work in an office, go to the bathroom, text, I'm sorry that you're upset. Is there something I could do? Do you want to meet for dinner later? Do you want to come over later and hang out with the kids? They always lift my spirits. Or they could show you that, hey, you could have 2 kids. Your life is fine. Sometimes we just need that reality check. So it's not just you. Life isn't fair. And I know it's a struggle because life isn't fair in all different ways. Your car may break down. You may lose someone you love. You may lose a job. You may get cheated on. You might be betrayed. Somebody may lie to you and really just devastate trust. You know, you may get passed over for a promotion that you really deserved. You knew you had done the work to deserve it. And someone told you you were getting that and you got passed over. Life isn't fair. It sucks. But we are here. This is the experience. You need to realize it, move past it. Find a way of walking around that giant boulder of crap. That isn't fair. All right. I love you guys. Hold on. Be strong. I know you are. You're awesome. All right. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.